Hello and welcome to week 2. We're focusing on knees today. And knees is a little bit complicated because the joint itself is fairly simple. It's what's called a hinge joint, just like the elbow, it just hinges back and forth. But because it's a reflection of how the ankle's functioning and also how the hips are functioning, often the knee becomes dysfunctional. So what we're going to look at today are the areas kind of around the knee that would cause it to be unstable. Okay, so the number one cause, unless there's been some sort of like trauma, like actual accident where the bones have been shifted or perhaps the cartilage has broken down, we're going to look at the major overcompensating areas. So the groins themselves in here cause what's called hip flexion. Okay, so this is flexion of the trunk, that kind of like jackknife position. Now, when the groins are really tight and the hip flexors are really tight, it causes a lot of pulling on the front of the knee. Okay, so first thing we're going to look at is how to tame that groin to keep the knee in line. Okay, the second, the hamstring. Now, the hamstring here, its job is to bend the knee. That's the only job that it has, right? So when you're sitting all day, if you think about it, you're sitting all day, this muscle is short, okay? So it gets tight. And then when you go to stand, it's then gonna end up pulling more on the knee joint. So if we can increase the flexibility and the range of motion of that hamstring, it's also gonna take a lot of pressure off the knee, okay? Third, we're gonna do kneeling lunges. Okay, so a lunge it's an exercise that's used all the time. And there's a lot of kind of controversy over whether the knee should go over the toe. But we're gonna actually take the lunge kind of the next level and we're gonna go into different directions, okay? And then fourth, glute bridges, when you're sitting all day, again, and your glutes, your bum muscles are lengthened, we're not using them often. So again, this promotes that forward hip, okay, causing pulling on the knee as well. So I'm going to take you through 4 different glute bridges so that we can activate different muscles around the bum, okay? So number 1, groin tamer. You want to find some sort of chair if it's in your office and you want to take like a 5-minute break during the day, or even obviously at home. I use a little table here. So you're going to lay on your back, and again, everything in alignment, okay? And you're going to put one leg up on the table and one leg straight. So you gotta kind of scooch up here. If it's a little bit awkward, take your time. Okay, so you're gonna scooch up, bring the table or the chair closer to that knee joint, and then you're gonna lay back. Okay, so we want this at a 90-degree like that. This leg again is straight. Bring the toe up so we can lengthen that calf muscle. And you literally just lie here. Now, the thigh test will tell us when and how long it takes for that groin to release. Okay, because we're using gravity to pull down, we're actually decompressing the low back here as the groin releases. So this thigh test, what we're gonna do is squeeze your thigh, squeeze their quad, and wherever you feel the tension dictates how close we are to letting the groin release. So right now when I squeeze my thigh, I feel it more in my knee, closer to my knee. So I know that my groin is not even close to being released. The more I lay here, the longer I lay here, and I just relax and I breathe, I do the thigh test again, you'll notice that tension starts to creep up. Once you start to feel most of the tension up here, you know that your groin has actually released. And that's when we know to move on to the second leg. Okay, so open up your palms, pull your shoulder blades down, and just relax. Stay here. Focus on your breathing. Try not to think about what you did before. Try not to think about what you need to do next. Just focus on your breathing in and out. And every about 5 to 10 breaths, do the thigh test. So that's number 1. Hamstring stretch. Now most people sit there and they do a static stretch, right? You just sit here and you hold. Static stretching is good, especially after a workout. You never want to do it prior to the workout. You have to remember that muscle has elasticity in it. So if you were to take an elastic band and just stretch it and hold it, and then ask it to go contract and work in a workout, your muscles aren't going to perform nearly as well. So we want to go through what's called dynamic, meaning through movement, so we can open many bellies of muscle and elongate the elasticity through motion. Okay, so with this hamstring stretch, I'm going to use the wall, but you can also do a hip hinge. So hinge forward like a normal static stretch, but this time we're actually going to rotate from side to side. And you're going to feel that in the back of your knee. So what I want you to be very mindful of is that posture. Okay, so keep your back straight. If you notice that you can only get to here before you start rounding, then that's as far as you go. Okay, so you hinge at the hip, keep the back straight, and then rotate from side to side. Okay, and the more flexible you get, the lower you can go, keeping your back straight. And again, be mindful of your feet, right from week 1. Be mindful of your feet, what your feet are doing. Okay, if you want to use the wall, that can help you keep your back in alignment. And again, move the hips. Okay, so number 3, kneeling lunge. If you need, take the pillow so that it's underneath this knee. Okay, so this is a classic lunge position. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go inside and outside, okay? So go into a longer stance so that when you lunge forward, you start to feel the stretch in this hip. Again, we wanna open up the hips. Okay, so first thing I'm gonna do is go to the left, slowly, and then I'm gonna go to the right. And you're gonna feel how different it is in the hip, because everything is in alignment, right? Everything works together as a unit. Okay, so I want you to do this this kneeling lunge up to 30 times. Okay, so even if you need to just do 10 and then switch sides, do 10 and then switch sides, but build up to 30. Okay, now number 4, glute bridges. So the glute bridge is really great as long as you don't arch your back too much. Okay, so you want to keep that spine always neutral. So the first one, parallel. Knees and feet parallel together. Okay, so equal distance apart. Okay, bring your shoulders down. Everything is neutral in alignment. Tilt that tailbone under so that your low back is flat. Inhale first. As you exhale, spine comes down and we slowly lift the hips up. Okay, so you notice that my back is nice and flat. We're not doing this. Okay, we want to stay nice and neutral. Inhale down, exhale up. Inhale down, exhale up. Now that's parallel. When you go knees in, feet wide, you'll notice this is more contraction on the inside of the leg. Okay, toes are pointed forward. And again, inhale first, exhale, lift. Keep the knees together. Inhale down, exhale, lift. Inhale down, exhale, lift. Okay, so work your way up to 30 of those. And now we're gonna go feet in, knees wide. So I call this a frog. Okay, now this one, you're gonna notice a lot less range. Okay, tilt that tailbone under, feet are together, knees are wide. Inhale first, exhale, lift. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Work your way up to 30. Okay, the last one, knees and feet wide. Okay, so this is gonna strengthen more along the outsides, just like that frog did, was a good progression exercise to this one. So knees and feet in alignment, feet are pointed forward, tuck the tailbone under, pull the shoulders away from your ears. Inhale first, exhale, lift. Inhale down, exhale, lift. Inhale down. Exhale, lift. Again, you'll notice my back isn't super arched. Okay, we want to keep that spine nice and neutral. Glutes squeezed. Inhale down. Exhale, lift. Okay, so again, work your way up to 30. By now, I hope that you're starting to do the ankles in conjunction with the knees, okay? So the idea is that you slowly start to build up the alignment of the joints and you do less and less of them as your day goes along. Okay, so knees, 4 exercises, and we'll see you next week for your hips. Enjoy.